Hey guys, so today I thought I would do a wrap-up video since it is the end of the month, but since I didn't do one for January, which is a long story of why I took another break, but I'm gonna try and work back into it. February was a terrible month for me, which is reflected in my reading, but I do want to share the books that I did read because for the most part I enjoyed all of them. So yeah, tomorrow I will be posting a March TBR because I have a lot of books I want to get into in an effort to break out of this slump. But for now, let's talk about the books that I read in the last 2 months, starting with January. So the first book that I read to start off 2017 was Honor Girl by Maggie. This is a graphic memoir about Maggie's life as she is 14, going to camp, and she is discovering her sexuality and that she might be different than everyone else, but she can't quite figure out why and if it's normal and how to deal with it. So we just go on a journey. The art was simplistic and yet still really beautiful, and I liked the overall story. I thought it was a whirlwind of an adventure to go through both her youth and her puberty and discovering her sexuality, and it really brought me back to when I was 14, 15 years old, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for a graphic novel that has some realistic elements, because it is a memoir, I would definitely recommend picking this up. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then I decided to pick up the next few books in the Series of Unfortunate Events series by Lemony Snicket, the next one being The Reptile Room. I'd seen the original Jim Carrey movie, and this book is covered in that movie, so nothing was a surprise to me, but I did really enjoy it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up the third one, The Wide Window. This one was alright for me. It took me a long time to get into, and I ended up finishing it as an audiobook. So I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. And then finally I picked up The Wide Window, which I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. I decided to stop at this point because I started to lose interest in the series, and I wanted to get through the first 4 in order to watch the Netflix adaptation with Neil Patrick Harris. And I'm on about the 3rd episode of that, and I'm not loving it as much as I would hope to, considering I'm a huge Neil Patrick Harris fan. So if you guys have watched it and compared it to reading the books, let me know if I should continue on or not. And then just to get me out of that little slump I'd formed, I picked up The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. 5 out of 5 stars, one of my favorites, just a reread. So that was what I read in January. I know it's not a lot. I was hoping to have read a lot more. Unfortunately, that trend did not continue into February, where I only read 2 books, the first of which took me almost the entire month to read, and that was Calling Maggie May by Anonymous. This is done in the same format as Go Ask Alice and Jay's Journal, and Lucy in the Sky, I think, is another one. So I'd received this book from Simon & Schuster Canada probably a year and a half ago, considering it came out in June of 2015, and I just kind of gone in and out of my blogging. So I wanted to read it, thinking I would enjoy it and it would get me out of my slump. It was in my 17 books to read in 2017, and I hated this book so much. I've never hated a book as much as I hated this one. I did read it to the end. If any of you have read it, send me a message or something so we can talk about the author's note, because I'm still really frustrated. So as I'm sure you can tell, I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Would not recommend. I did write an entire review if you want to check that out, because I'm not usually this harsh with books. So I will leave the link down below, and I'd love to talk about it with somebody if you've read it, because this book just frustrated me and I'm so done with it. And then to try and cheer myself up, I picked up Alex and Ada Volume 1. This is a graphic novel I'd been eyeing for quite some time, but I'm always torn on whether or not I want to buy graphic novels because I read them so quickly and they're not always something I love. But none of the libraries in my area carried it, so I decided to invest, and I actually really enjoyed it. I did give it 4 out of 5 stars, and I will be continuing on with the series. There's only 3 other volumes, so it's very iRobot if you've seen the Will Smith movie, and I think that's what I really enjoyed about it because I love that movie. So this one was almost just more of like character development and backstory, so I'm really excited to get further into the plot and see where the story is going. If you want to know what I'm currently reading, make sure you check out my March TBR, which, like I said, will be posted tomorrow. Make sure you let me know what you read this past month and what you enjoyed the most or what you enjoyed the least. Let me know. And yeah, I'm excited to be coming back for real, and hopefully you guys are happy to have me back. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.